Hi, good evening, good evening, good evening. What's happening, guys? How is everybody? Danny, Left-Handed Texan, Phoenix, Adrian, Marcus, good evening. Everybody is well and healthy, thanks for asking. I haven't quite decided where we're painting tonight. Probably going to be painting some of these gun parts. I need to do some washes on these incursors. They're making some progress. I need to figure out what I'm doing with the guns to finish them off. And then last time I was on here, I was doing a little bit of work on these two Volcons. I did play the Volcons, like, played them again for the first time in a while this week, and I have a love-hate relationship with Volcons. Good evening, Wolfden. Good evening, Andy. How you doing? I mean, like, and this is why, like, I saw some of the rules for the new Chaos Knights. The Chaos Knights have a Volcon that can have, like, heavy 6, but on a 6 to wound, it's 3 mortal wounds. And, like, I wish they would fix this, because even the regular Volcons that we have, the Volcon Contemptor, sometimes you shoot it and you do 0 mortal wounds, and sometimes you shoot it, you do 5 mortal wounds. So it makes me wonder, like, so what, Chaos Knights are going to have a Volcon where sometimes you shoot it, you'll do 0 mortal wounds, and sometimes you'll shoot it, you'll do like 20 mortal wounds. Like, God, I hate weapons that are so swingy in a competitive game. I just think it's stupid. It's just my opinion. So yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with the Volcons. They are a good unit. It feels like when you really need them to perform, they don't, and I guess that's my hate for them. It's like, I wish they would look at some of these things and normalize them a bit better, you know? Like, and I mean, I guess we've been seeing it with some of the other armies that have come out, where like some of these other armies have weapons or abilities where they can do, like when we looked at the Castellan in the Grotz video, if you guys just watched that, the Castellan can do, like, what was it, 58 mortal wounds in a turn? You know, like, yeah, you have to roll pretty hot for that to happen, but like, why do we even have an ability that can do 58 mortal wounds in a turn? Like, why is it not just, why isn't this stuff just normalized? Like, how, yeah, like, I don't know why they aren't thinking about normalizing stuff like that. To me, it seems like a really bad decision. You're better running a Contemptor with a multi-metal and a Chain Fist plus PBG? What's a PBG? PBG? I don't know what a PBG is. I'll probably get it the second you tell me. PBG. I've run the Contemptor with the multi-melt and the Chain Fist a few times. I don't particularly like him. One multi-melted doesn't feel that strong. Wolfden ordered my knight. You mean you ordered the Castellan or you ordered the Gallant? The Plasma Burst Gun? Okay, I mean, I don't know. I've ran that Contemptor a few times, Highland Phoenix. I've never had it really feel like it's super worth it or it's performed like really well for me. So I'm not really a fan. Oscar says, I'm buying Assault Terminators, Grav Devastators, a Venerable Dreadnought, Assault Intercessors, and a Jump Chaplain, specifically the Blood Angels one. Well, if you're buying all that and you are in the UK, then please do use my Element link, because I would love to get a referral code from all that purchases. But if you're not, no worries, Oscar. That is that's going to be a little something. Assault Terminators I love. Grav Devastators look like they'd be pretty good. Venerable Dreadnoughts, I tried them. I'm not 100% sure on them. I'm not 100% sold. I mean, the Ballistic Skill and Weapon Skill 2 is pretty nice. The Feel No Pain is pretty nice. I guess I haven't run them since Armor of Contempt. Assault Intercessors I'm not really fond of either. I think you're better off getting Incursors. I mean, I have like 10 Assault Intercessors painted, and I always end up using the unpainted, or I mean, my Incursors aren't unpainted. I guess they're unfinished. I always end up using my unfinished Incursors. If anyone was in the stream last week, they were talking to me about the orange that I was painting on these guns. And we were talking about washes. And before this stream I was trying to remember, did people think that this orange is going to look better with a wash of Reikland Flesh Shade, or is it going to look better with a wash of Carber Crimson? Because I've got the Flesh Shade in front of me. If it's going to be the Crimson, I'm going to have to dig into my big box that has all the paints that I barely ever use inside it. I think people thought that Crimson might be too bright, and and Reichland Fleshshade was going to be the right colour. But yeah, if anyone was here for the last stream that we were talking about that, let me know. Tark says, hey, I've been watching you for a while and I've seen your list evolve. How do you feel about your current list? What, if anything, are you considering changing? I'm not happy with my current list, but I'm not changing anything. I guess my list is like a take all corners list. I'm not sure it's super strong at anything, but I don't think it's super weak on anything as well. And a lot of people have moved towards like a much more melee focus for Blood Angels since Armor of Contempt came out. But like my problem with that is like, how do you beat Tau if you're completely melee focused? How do you beat Dukari if you're completely melee focused? I think there's still value in having some sort of balance in there. 400 points of shooting, and I guess that's where I am. I mean, I could drop Mephiston for Null Zone. That's definitely something that could happen, but got a little bit bored of playing that Null Zone librarian that has to sacrifice himself. Mephiston's swingy, sure. But I mean, the Null Zone's swingy as well when you need a 7 and the enemies can deny it, right? Also invite World Eaters back after the new rules. Yeah, I mean, Brett is desperate to come back after World Eaters get the new rules. He was upset to... I don't know if he was upset, but yeah, he's up for coming back for sure. I don't think... I couldn't even believe his Terminator still only had 2 wounds, honestly. Like, we're so... You know, we've had our codex for so long, it wasn't even a thing in my mind when I went to fight his Terminators and he was like, oh, they just have 2 wounds? I was like, what? Like, it's been so long. Like, our Terminators have had 2 wounds for like... Sorry, 3 wounds for like 18 months, 24 months almost? Like, it just... Things keep happening that make me that reinforce my stance that like digital rules is the only way that 40k can evolve to be better, because when somebody's waiting 24 months to get an extra wound, literally a 1 up, like a 1 changed to a 2 on their datasheet, or in the case of Terminators a 2 changed to a 3, like how is that a good experience? I mean, that's a terrible experience. You know, like, if that was a PC game, for example, because we see PC games come out, like the new Battlefield came out. I used to play Battlefield, I used to quite like it. I was interested in 2042 or whatever it's called when they announced it, because I was like, oh, my favourite Battlefield was actually 2142 back from like the early 2000s, I guess, maybe? 2005 or something? So I was interested in it, and like, 6 months on they've not patched it and everybody's quit. You look on Steam, there's no one playing it, there's no point buying it now, right, I guess? So like, that's just a terrible experience. I couldn't even believe his Terminator still only had 2 wounds. Couldn't believe it. Hopefully Centurions are better in Space Marines 2.0. I really don't know why Centurions aren't core. I guess they only lost core because Ultramarines, I think. Ultramarines and Guilliman made Centurions too powerful, right? Hello Max, thank you so much for tuning in. It's nice to see a new face. We're also over here on YouTube if you want to follow us there, Max. But yeah, you can totally follow on Twitch, I appreciate that. I do more like tactical content on YouTube, and Twitch is just for the live streams, which typically are Mondays... God, we do live streams quite often, don't we? We do Mondays, Thursdays every second week, then every Saturday and every Sunday. Good evening, Steel Rain. It's been a little while. How are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm not painting Sanguinary Guard, Steel Rain. Don't hate me. I am finding that I feel like overall, though, I feel like Armor of Contempt, although I think it's like a band-aid fix, I do think it's made the game a lot more fun for Marine players. Like, into some armies, I feel like I have a pretty good chance now, whereas before I really felt like, against some armies, I just felt like, geez, do I have any chance of winning this game? I mean, I would win some of them because I only play one army and I know everything in and out, but, yeah. I feel like Armor of Contempt has made the game a lot more enjoyable for me. And you should drop Mephiston. Yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, he's the friggin' Lord of Death. He just needs some new rules. He needs a little bit of TLC. I was gonna say, last night I actually finished like a pretty fun video as well. So I've got like a video that's unlike any I've ever made before, which is all rendered and stuff. So it's gonna be coming pretty soon. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's something completely different, I guess. Good evening, Daniel. Behold, you nabbed a wet palette. I still haven't got my wet palette. They actually emailed me about it this week. Do you know what? That wet palette is so overdue at this point that I've just stopped checking the emails. Like, it'll either turn up or it won't turn up at this point, I feel like. That Kickstarter is like... I've had that a few times on Kickstarter. You know, like, sometimes on Kickstarter things go smoothly. You pay your money, you get your product in 6 or 9 months and you're very happy, and then other times on Kickstarter you pay your money and you give up. You think like, fuck me, I'm never getting it. And then one day it'll either miraculously turn up, or you'll get that dreaded email that says like, the company that was making it fucked up and there is no product to be had. I don't know which way that wet palette's going to go. I think one day it's just going to turn up. One day that I've forgotten about it and you guys have given up moaning at me about getting it. Good evening, Dracula. Ultramarines abuse Centurions with core, but they need core for everybody else. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Highland Phoenix. That's a huge problem, though, with the current iteration of everything using the Space Marine Codex, right? Like, you know, if they take away, like, well, you use the Redemptor Dreadnought example. Black Templars players use 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. It's really fucking strong because they can't be wounded on anything less than a 3, and they get a 5-up invulnerable save, and they get a 5-up feel no pain against mortals. And they get something else as well, Black Templars. Oh, and they can reroll all the advances and charge. So Black Templars got like all the things, right? For the Redemptors. So they stuck the Redemptors at 10 points because they're like, holy shit, Redemptors are pretty powerful for Black Templars. But like, because everybody uses the Marine Codex, then it fucks them for everything else. And like, maybe that was the wrong decision by Games Workshop to make everybody basically end up using the points costs from the Marine Codex. Like, maybe it would be better if Blood Angels, Redemptors for Blood Angels were still 100, and I don't see why they have to be the exact same cost for every army, right? I mean, maybe that simplifies it for their rule balancing team, but I don't know if it does really. Like, if you've got a unit like that that's getting a ton of value, then, and everyone's spamming it, but just one chapter spamming it. Like you said, Ultramarines are spamming Centurions, Black Templars are spamming Redemptors. Like, if 1 or 2 factions are spamming them, or 1 chapters are spamming them, then like, maybe those chapters, they should just be more expensive. Like, I don't know if that's feasible for the rules writing team to do that, but to me it feels like it would be the best way to deal with that problem, as opposed to just like, oh, these things are going up and everybody else, you're fucked. If I drop Mephiston, what would I use? Probably a Chief well, before I was running Mephiston, I was running the Chief Librarian with a jump pack, Null Zone, Mighty Heroes, and Psychic Fortress. I guess Psychic Fortress has lost in value. Null Zone's still very valuable. Might of Heroes is still very valuable, especially if you're running Dreadnoughts, because you could basically make a Dreadnought plus 1 toughness. If you're running something like an Ironclad Dreadnought, you could get a toughness 9 Dreadnought. That'd be pretty dope. I mean, toughness 9 Dreadnought means that like multi-melt is only wounding on 5s. I think that adds a ton of survivability, especially with Armor of Contempt on one of those Dreadnoughts, right? I actually have ordered an Ironclad, so I will have one in the near future. I like to have a shooting Dreadnought, I think, in my list. It seems to complement my sort of play style a little bit, lets me snag a few wounds off certain things, and yeah. But yeah, I think the Jump Librarian with all those powers and upgraded Chief Librarian is good. My current strategy really is to have a list that starts with a lot of CP, and that's one of the reasons that I like Mephiston, is like, although he isn't the greatest or most reliable psyker, he can be a bit of a beatstick, and because I think his Warlord trait's junk, he is only going to cost me one. He's going to cost me no CP to include him, right? Essentially, so that's one of the reasons that I've been picking Mephiston over the Chief Librarian, is because like I'm like. Plus, I like Unleash Rage. I think Unleash Rage is still a really good spell. I guess if you use it right, you can get a lot of value out of Unleash Rage. Probably just as much as you can get out of Null Zone, and you don't have to kill your character to make it work, right? Having no Psyker would be a pain, especially if you want an all corners list. Yeah, sometimes having one Psyker is actually a pain as well, Tarek, because it stops you picking Abhor the Witch, right? If the Studio version 2.0, they're staggering the deliveries. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about the rules writing team. Sorry, did anyone have a thought on this? Will Reichland Fleshshade be a good wash for these orange bits, do you think? Or do I need to use Caraburg Crimson? I think the Caraburg Crimson might be too strong. Right? Because this is a pretty muted red. That actually looks probably a little bit more red than the paint itself. Yeah, this is like a very, very dark red. Horus Heresy box confirmed at £180. Thoughts? Hype. I mean, I don't like the idea of boxes at £180 personally, and I've said this before on the channel. I don't like giant boxes that force you to get models that you don't necessarily need. For example, like 40 Tactical Marines. I'd rather they just sold them individually, but I mean, I guess this is maybe a bit of the strategy of like people will buy the giant boxes because they want to get the models first. I guess it will make Games Workshop like quite a lot of money because like everybody will have to rush out and buy these giant boxes. I'm not sure I'm a fan. I mean, 180 quid for what you get in there, Robert, probably isn't bad, but I think it's just more like my mindset of like, you know, like I got 2 kids, I can't always afford 180 bucks. You know, so like maybe I just want to buy 1 or 2 models. Like, hey, you know, a new Plastic Contemptor or something would be pretty cool, right? And I think it was the same. It's been the same for a while now. Look at Indomitus. Look at like Shadow Spear. I mean, can you even buy suppressors? Like, are suppressors even a thing? Like, can you just buy a box of suppressors? I don't think you can. So like, Shadow Spear came out like... Is it Shadow Spear? I've got it on my shelf behind me. Yeah, Shadow Spear. Shadow Spear came out like 2 years ago, and I don't think you can even buy suppressors. I mean, not that suppressors are good, but it's like... It's the principle of it, I guess, right? Where it's like, you can only get these models if you buy the big giant box, or you have to wait like an indeterminate amount of time. I guess, yes, it sells big giant boxes, but like I already got a giant pile of shame. So 180 bucks. I mean, if you're gonna buy it, it's probably pretty good value for how many models are in the box, but yeah, I guess I don't like the business practice of like, hey, you have to buy these big giant boxes, and sometimes I guess like you're gonna get doubles of stuff you already have that you don't want. And yeah, I mean, I guess you could trade it around and stuff, but it's just extra headache, isn't it? What are you thinking? Are you excited at $180? What's that in pound? Sorry, £180 in US dollars. I imagine it's going to be just under 300. Pounds to dollars is about 125 at the moment, so 180 if it was at the actual exchange rate, it would be maybe 250. You know what? I can just do the math. 180 times 1.25. So if it was actually the exchange rate, it would be $225. But I imagine there's extra shipping costs to get the stuff over to America and stuff. So you're probably $250, $270 or something like that. If it's less than that, then I guess I'm very wrong. Then down Caraburg Crimson gets my vote. Okay, so one person says Caraburg Crimson. Anyone saying Reichland Fleshshade? Daniel says Mephiston has done more for me than any other librarian I've run in the past few months. He survived all but one game with AOC 2. Yeah, I mean, AOC has given Mephiston a really good survivability rate, right? Like, in cover, he essentially can take -4 EP on a 4-up. So the fact he doesn't have an invulnerable save anymore isn't such a big problem. He's got the toughness 5, he's got the feel no pain, he's got the 6 wounds. I mean, he's certainly survivable, Mephiston. You can transhuman him because he's Primaris. I've enjoyed playing Mephiston a lot in terms of like him surviving, and he can do work. He really can. Camille, Grey Knight Combat Patrol has good value, no unneeded units. Well, that's cool. I mean, there's definitely some boxes that are good value and have no unneeded units. I mean, I'm not arguing that point, I guess. I just realised that my damn battery pack is out of power. I was thinking my light in this is pretty shit tonight. Hold on, just gonna plug this in somewhere else. Do I have a longer cable? No, I don't think I do. I had one. Oh, I do. I've got a USB cable here. Where does that go again? Yeah, 1 second. Let me plug this in. Can you heal a character with a priest? Yeah, 100% you can heal characters with a priest. Horus Heresy box is not a limited release though. I'm also annoyed at Indomitus stuff. I cannot get Cough Judiciar. Did they not sell the Judiciar either? I didn't realise that. Seeing the beaky heads makes me want to cut the heads off my guys. Dude, I did all my incursors with beaky heads. I hate painting the faces, so I thought the incursors with the beaks would be a cool different option. I did the sergeant with the wreath head as well, just so I can stand them out. I should have probably done the sergeant with a golden head, because technically, like, he's kind of a veteran, but I'm not going to go over it. I'm just going to leave him with the beak. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't have a problem with a big box if it has useful stuff in it, and the stuff can be bought individually, and the value is good, right? Shit, I'm out. I need to find a pot of Dawnstone. Hold on. I thought I had another pot of Dawnstone. Well, I guess what I've got a problem with is... I do have, cool. Alright. What I do have a problem with is like a big box where the units aren't going to be released, or you never know when you're going to be released, so you're forced to buy the big box. And sometimes you don't need everything in the box. I'm still waiting for my Astraeus to get here. I'm so glad it got Armour of Contempt. I proxied a cardboard cutout of Astraeus. How did your friend like a proxied cardboard cutout of Astraeus? That's ridiculous. I just got beat by Kev at Legion, says Andrew. Good evening, Andrew. How you doing? Was it a close game? What's Kev playing anyway in Legion? I know you're playing Battle Droids. Is he playing Droids too, or is he playing something else? I haven't played Legion in so long. I want to at some point. I really do want to. Mephiston is a beast in combat unless you're John, because you roll all ones. I do roll a lot of ones with Mephiston, don't I? Every time it feels like I roll a lot of ones with him. It's like 3 ones on the hits, 3 ones on the wounds. I think that if... Here's the thing, if I just keep playing Mephiston and get rid of all those bad rolls, eventually he'll do really well. And I mean, occasionally he does do well. I killed a 10-man squad of Fire Warriors in a single round of combat with him, so, I mean, that was cool. So he can do well now and again. I've been looking at Plasma Obliterates to use a Castle Hellblaster to put 10 heavy plasma incinerators, hellblasters in. Plasma obliterator. What is a plasma obliterator, sorry? It's a pity that impulsors didn't have the open top vehicle rule, right? Because if they had the open top vehicle rule, you could maybe just keep all 5 inside the vehicle and just shoot away indiscriminately, right? I prefer the Death Company Chapter Master with Hammer or Teeth of Terror than Mephiston. I mean, I'm not taking Mephiston to be a Smash character, though, right? I'm taking him to, I'm taking him mainly for Unleash Rage. Because I like Unleash Rage because you can get it off in your incursors in turn 1 and they can be kind of far forward, and also Unleash Rage also has a lot of value on Sanguinary Guard. Like, it just always seems to proc like a bunch of extra attacks. So I mean, that's kind of the main reason that I'm taking Mephiston as Unleash Rage. Originally I was taking like Blood Boil or Shield of Sanguinius, but I guess Shield doesn't feel as useful with Armor of Contempt, and Blood Boil also, in my experience, isn't very reliable, right? Like, it's like, yeah, it's better than Smite because you can target an enemy and stuff, but like, because you have to roll twice essentially, because you have to roll over your leader, you have to do a psychic test, then you have to roll over their toughness on 2d6, I think it is, because you end up rolling twice, and then it's only d3 mortal wounds for the most part as well. So Blood Boil doesn't really feel any better than Smite in my opinion, so based on that I feel like a couple of turns of Unleash Rage and then let Mephiston fly around and do some damage. And sometimes he refuses to die because he is, you know, in cover he's pretty tasty now. Oh right, you're gonna take the tower. I see, Highland Phoenix. And you think that's gonna work? Or you just want to do it because you think it'll be fun? I mean, it's okay if you just think it's gonna be fun. That's cool too. I'm not judging. Thomas says I'm about to play a 500-point game against the Chaos Knights. Who's hoping the Death Company can one-shot some stuff. And a 500-point game, if you one-shot a couple of knights, the game's going to be over. So good luck, Thomas. Your opponent's going to have nothing left if you manage to one-shot a knight or two. Robert's working on a Relic Shield Captain. I must say the Wet Palette is really good for blending. I can finally do the cloth some justice. Did you just get your Wet Palette, Robert, or have you been using it for a while? You said you got a new one, right? Are you pretty familiar with them in the past, or what? Has anyone ever magnetized Eradicators? I don't know. I mean, I only have the monopose Eradicators from Indomitus, so I certainly haven't. I've considered buying an extra squad of Eradicators because I do feel like the multi-melta Eradicators are pretty good. Just because the total obliteration rule gives them like some added value. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any non-monopose Eradicators. John really likes his Librarian Dreadnought. Do you know what? I used to run the Librarian Dreadnought an awful lot, John. He is good. I mean, he's even more of a beatstick than Mephiston, I guess, and you know, arguably he's quite survivable now with Armor of Contempt. Do you stick something like Iron Resolve on him to just put him up to that 9 wounds, give him a 6-up, feel no pain, -1 damage? He is arguably a bigger beatstick than any of our characters. You can probably do the most damage just because he's got like that nasty ass fist and the pike, basically. Kind of a scary character too. I feel like he doesn't complement my playstyle though these days, because like for me it feels like with Librarian Dreadnought you just want to get him into combat nice and early, you want to jump him forward, etc, and I don't really go too ham on turn 1. I'm trying to sit for a little while in the game and find my feet and pick up points later in the game, I think. So, but Librarian Dreadnought is definitely a cool character. I think when I compared to Mephiston, I think I basically said like he'll do more damage than Mephiston. He's probably just as survivable. I guess it comes down to points then. He's obviously going to cost a bit more points than Mephiston. Comes down to if you want to make him the Chief Librarian and get those 3 powers, which sometimes with Mephiston can be pretty useful to cast 3 powers in a turn. Do I just not care about heavy melter rifles? I mean, for the most part, if you went to a tournament and you had 3 Eradicators and they're holding melter rifles, whatever it says on the data sheet is what you've got, right? Like no one, in my experience, no one's looking over and going, "Oh, those are the auto bolt rifles that you've got on that unit." I mean, I don't even know what auto bolt rifles look like. Heavy bolt rifles, I don't know, right? My experience tells me that if it's a painted Eradicator and he's holding a melter rifle, whatever it says on your army list sheet is what he has, right? The only exception there would be like if you were actually running one with a multi-melter, you would probably expect to see one holding a multi-melter, right? I mean, I went to a tournament once where a guy was running Volcons on all his dreadnoughts, and when you actually look closely at them, they were all assault cannons. And I mean, I even made a comment about it and was like, "Nice looking Volcons you've got there," and he was just like, "Yeah, they are, aren't they?" James says 10,000 subscribers. When did this happen? Maybe like middle last week, James. We're almost at 10.1k. It's creeping up, nice and slowly, but it's creeping up. Librarian Dreadnought is better than Mephiston. I still don't understand how you're justifying Mephiston. I'm justifying him because he costs no points and he costs no CP. That's how I'm justifying him. I guess everybody has their opinion on Mephiston, but that's how I'm. That's where I am with him. I like it when my list can start with 10 CP and I can have that crazy looking chapter master, right? To do that, I basically have to keep my other characters like CP free essentially, which meant if I did go for the Chief Librarian with a jump pack, I wouldn't be able to give him. Sorry, if I went for a Librarian with a jump pack, I wouldn't be able to give him Chief Librarian for the null zone, which at that point kind of doesn't feel worth it, because I've said in many videos, if you want to go with that null zone character, I feel like you kind of need Chief Librarian. You're shooting yourself in your foot. Do you paint your Terminator helmets gold or red? They're veterans, so it should be gold, but every artwork I've seen shows them red. That's a very good question, Berserker. A lot of the Terminator artwork does show Terminators with red helmets, even Assault Terminators, which should arguably be yellow, I suppose. I recently did finish the squad of Terminators, and I painted all the heads red. It seems like Terminators are possibly exempt from that rule of helmet color. And the reason they're probably exempt from that rule is probably that rule came out after the Terminators got invented, like way back in the early 90s, because Terminators came out in 2nd edition, and I do not... Do you know what? I got the 2nd edition codex here, give me a sec. Alright, Codex Angels of Death, 2nd edition. There's a section in the middle of the book with colours. So yeah, so in 2nd edition, tactical squads had red helmets, assault squads did have yellow helmets, and Devastator squads did have blue helmets. But Terminators had red helmets. So I guess it must have just been when that rule came out, they weren't there yet. I mean, Dante didn't have Sanguinary Guard back then, he just had what they called Honor Guard, which were basically like a jump packs, basically a jump unit, right? They didn't have gold armor, they just had gold helmets. Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason. But back then, where Terminators were... Oh look, this is a weird squad of Terminators actually, because look, you've got one with Thunderhammer, you've got one with Lightning Claws, you've got one with a sword and bolter, you've got one with a assault cannon, and you've got another Thunderhammer one. So I guess the Terminator squads didn't give a shit back then. They weren't... It wasn't like an assault Terminator squad and a shooting Terminator squad, it was like, they just do both. So, it's probably a little bit of a victim of the times, I imagine. Yeah, I know that I knew that the auto bolt rifles were supposed to have the box, but like I just built all my incursors with whatever standard. I think I just built them all with the standard bolt rifle upgrade. If people, I think if you're gonna run incursors or auto bolt rifle incursors, no one's gonna look at the little boxes on the guns and be like, "Oh, that's not an auto bolt rifle." I mean, somebody might. I feel like it's unlikely though. I feel like it's really unlikely. I certainly wouldn't have a problem with it if I came up against somebody and they were like, I would just look at the sheet before we play the game and be like, alright, he's got heavy metal eradicators, okay. I wouldn't then go and look at the eradicators and be like, oh, those guys don't have the right pipes, so those aren't heavy metal rifles. I hate all those minor variant weapons, 3 types of bolt rifle, 3 types of plasma, heavy bolt rifles, bunch of variants. We get those options, but not special weapons or heavy weapons, says James. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's just Primaris Marines in a nutshell, really, James. That's how they've been designed, and I mean, that's why some people, not me specifically, but I guess that's why some people want to just say, like, firstborn, bestborn. And also some people are like, I just don't want to include any Primaris models. I mean, it goes some people are doing it now where they don't want to include any firstborn, they just want to do Primaris. So it's kind of going both ways, but I kind of feel like I would just prefer it if they gave the Primaris models some more options, and then a lot more people would be happy, right? Because like I don't run very many Primaris models because lack of options or lack of flexibility. I mean, I guess that's kind of the same thing, right? How's the melt-a-bomb strat work? Just one attack of 2d3 mortals, which means the attack sequence ends. Yeah, so you would just roll one attack. Ideally you want to have some sort of reroll on that attack, so like a chapter master or a captain close by giving you a reroll, because you pay your CP, you roll your dice. If you hit, then you just get to do the 2d3 mortals. If you miss, you're fucked and you lose everything. So you need to add some sort of way to make the attack reliable. Godel, I think is your name. And welcome to channel, Godel. I don't think we've seen you in in a live stream before. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate people checking out the stream for the first time. If you could add jump packs to Honor Guard and Tech Sanguinary Champion, would they be playable now? I mean, Tech Marine's playable without a jump pack. The Primaris Tech Marine, I used it at GT. I think it's pretty good. A company champion would get a lot better with a jump pack, yeah. But I don't... I can't imagine Blood Angels are getting new rule updates anytime soon, it feels like. Maybe if Dante ever crosses the Rubicon, we'll get Primaris Sanguinary Guard. I think that's what most people would want, but if they do Primaris Sanguinary Guard, they really need to do a better job of like the weapon options that we get, because typically the Primaris Death Company are kind of... Are they a running joke? I mean, they're a bit of a joke, because like nobody runs Primaris Death Company. No competitive player runs Primaris Death Company. Their weapon options make no sense. So if they want to do more Primaris stuff, they need to do better with the weapon options. Mark says you can't wait for the new Horus Heresy, as all the heavy weapons and special weapons fit any of the beakies. Well, I mean, I'm really glad to hear a couple of things about Horus Heresy, actually. I love the idea that they're doing the weapon upgrade sprues. That's something that I've been asking for years, because every time I feel like I build a squad of guys, I need to go to eBay and buy weapon options, and it really irks me that I have to spend like a lot more money to get weapon. I don't want to have to buy another whole box of 5 Marines just to get a couple of Storm Shields, you know? So the fact that at least with Horus Heresy they're doing that, I feel like is a really good step in the right direction. So I'm really happy about that. Do you run one Primaris Terminator? There is no such thing as a Primaris Terminator. There's a rumor that we're getting Primaris Terminators, but I don't know, it's just a rumor. I mean, Gravis models are kind of make me think that's what Primaris Terminators would be, unless it's like a Gravis close combat squad with like thunder hammers or some sort of Gravis weapons. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know anything about Primaris Terminators. You're right, Reziel, we did do a video on the problem with the Primaris. Me and Reziel did like a live stream on that. Well, it wasn't like a live stream, was it? I guess it was a pre-recorded chat for about, I think it's only about a month, maybe a month and a half old, so I think we called it the Achilles heel of the Primaris. So if you search Achilles heel of the Primaris, you'll probably find our video complaining that Primaris are a bit one-dimensional in places. And we think that if they weren't so one-dimensional, probably more people would be willing to adopt them. But I mean, it's just our opinions, right? I guess everything on this channel is pretty much just my opinion. So you can take it or you can leave it, you know? Or you can tell me why I'm wrong. I mean, I'm happy to hear why I'm wrong. In a tournament with WYSIWYG, if you mix squad with different weapons, you need to find a way to make it clear which have the auto stalkers and normal bolt rifles. Yes, you definitely do. You can always do a little mark on their bases, a little coloured mark or something to show which one has which weapon. Do you know what? I just spent a little bit of time on these. I should have been doing these little things on their backs as well, shouldn't I? These little scanner things, whatever they are. Does anyone know what these little scanner things on the cursors are called? Do they have a name in the lore? What's their purpose? Oh, they're probably on the data sheet actually, aren't they? Some sort of... It's not the Omni Stram lore. I might consider running 30k. I mean, I'm not gonna play 30k. Not right now anyway. I mean, like, my 2 kids are super young. I have literally no time. I was supposed to be doing like a video on Tuesday night, right? For the channel, and it's like I haven't done any prep for it because like all last night I was working on another video. So, and then tonight I'm live streaming. Saturday night I'll probably be live streaming. Sunday night I'll be live streaming. So yeah, I don't have time to learn another game right now. We've got a new video. We've actually got a video coming out on the channel about knights tomorrow, or including a knight in your Blood Angels list. Diving into it a bit deeper than, well, I wouldn't say a bit deeper than what we did on the Grot. So a bit more focused, a bit more Blood Angels focused tomorrow. So yeah, I feel like I mean I only play one game a week of 40k at the moment. I don't even know if I feel tournament ready playing just one game a week, you know that? Like, before I had kids, if I was going to a tournament, I might take like a whole Saturday and just play like 3 games against Andrew. Or a game against Andrew, a game against Colin, and then Andrew would play Colin. The 3 of us used to like play quite a bit more, I guess. I mean, Andrew and Colin probably play more than I do these days. Not really out of choice though, right? It's just like my wife needs help with the kids, and I mean, it was my choice to have kids, right? So, but yeah, so am I learning 30k right now? No. I mean, do you guys surely see all of the games that I have behind me? Every time I do a stream, there's loads of games behind me. I literally haven't played any of them but 40k, and since I started the YouTube channel, which was August 2020, August, the first year of COVID. So in the 2 years since August, because it's almost 2 years. I mean, what's August? 3 months away. So I guess like in the 21 months since COVID happened, I haven't done any other game except 40k. So, and I still don't know if I feel tournament ready. I mean, if stuff comes out in 30k that we can use for 40k and it's good and it's competitive, then great. You know, like I'd probably jump on that in a second. I always like the look of that 40k Blood Angels Dreadnought that has the wings, like the flying Dreadnought. No, it doesn't have wings, does it? It's a jump pack though, but I guess a lot of people have like modded it to have wings. So yeah, maybe one day in the grim darkness of the far future, we might play 30k, but like it's not on my agenda at the moment. I just don't have time. I'll have to. We'll look. Like I said, it would be a long way away, and when I say a long way, I mean like. Well, I mean my kids will need to be grown up to a point where like they can not need me all the time at the weekends and stuff. So I think you're talking at least like 4 years, 5 years, something like that. But it doesn't mean I won't buy the box, right? Like, there's a very good chance that I'll probably buy the box that's coming out with all the models. But then it'll get added to this giant pile behind me, and I'll have to sit there for like 4 years. But I mean, in the meanwhile, I am making good, like, I knock out models every couple of weeks, you know, like I surely I'm getting through my backlog of 40k stuff. There hasn't been any big Blood Angels releases for a while. I mean, on the cards for me, I guess, is like maybe a knight, and also apparently I need to now buy a Stormspeeder Thunderstrike. People think that maybe that would be better than a Relic Contemptor Dreadnought. I'm not convinced, but I mean, it's not probably going to get the Stormspeeder Thunderstrike at some point in the near future. Recast and 3D prints keep me in the hobby. I probably wouldn't be able to afford that if I didn't access to these alternatives. I mean, I guess I'm slow enough where I can afford to buy the official products. I mean, if you buy from the resellers, they're not that expensive. You could usually get 20-30% off the GW prices, right? If I want to run a 10-man squad of Assault Intercessors with power axes, then I bloody well should be able to take it. I'll pay the points, says Robert. I mean, that's that is Primaris in a nutshell, right? Like, would it really break the balance if assault intercessors could run power axes? I would say it wouldn't affect anything hardly in the balance. I mean, like, if you look at like crisis suits on Tau, how they are like so versatile. They can take like 5 different weapon options. They can have 3 of each weapon. You know, like, does it make any sense that a Space Marine player can't run multiple weapons on an assault intercessor squad? No, I think it makes no sense. So what are you guys hobbying tonight? If you are hobbying, let me know what you're doing in the chat. And did anyone pick up the Knight Codex? And I noticed one person said that you ordered my Knight. Has anyone else ordered a Knight? Has anyone else got ideas on a Knight? Like I said, I do have a Knights video coming out tomorrow. And the Knights video coming out tomorrow is quite a generalist Knights video. But I think that there might be some other interesting videos to be made around Imperial Knights. Maybe like comparing them to some of the super heavies that we can include as a Space Marine player. I'm hoping none of you have to ever assemble the Finecast Sanguiner. I may take up smoking again after this, says Andy. I've never actually seen the Finecast Sanguiner in all his glory. Oh, did you say Sanguiner? I thought you meant Sanguinius. Sorry, the Finecast Sanguiner. Yes, I do have a Finecast Sanguiner. The Finecast models, I don't know how much longer they'll be around for. I think they're going to be phased out in as soon as you buy the Thunderstrike, there'll be some shift and it won't be good. Yeah, I mean, that's usually how this hobby works, right? You buy a model, or you buy an army, and then they change everything and it's not good anymore. You got to be ready to adapt. In some ways, I do like that they change things frequently, but I wish... I think my main thing is I wish they would go to digital rules, and I wish they would release everybody else's codex all at the same time. Jimmy says he's ruining some Deathwatch by trying to paint them. Adrian's building a heavy destroyer. Miguel is painting the Galatas Dread. Caustic says, I think Primaris Death Company, if they mix them with the Reavers in the rules, where they have the grappling and the Gravs and 5 power swords, would be good. I mean, they need to do something. I think they just need to give them jump packs, but yeah, I mean, I also think it's confusing that Death Company don't have Fearless anymore, or like Death Company have morale of 7. That makes no sense to me, I suppose. Like, Death Company Marines literally just see Horus, and they're just there to fight. They're gonna fight Horus to the death. So why the hell have they got leadership? They're certainly not running away. I promise you they're not running away. I mean, I'd rather that the... you remember in the old days where it was like, if the Death Company are in range of an enemy, they have to charge them? I would rather a rule like that than Leadership 7. Like, yeah, if the Death Company end the movement phase in range of any enemy model, they have to try and make a charge. Like, that would make sense. Having Leadership 7? No, I don't think that makes sense. You just have to be very tactful if you were going to end up your Death Company, like, near something that you didn't want to charge, right? Not So Savage Joe says he can't wait to get a knight in his army, just doesn't know which one yet. Well, I guess check out the video tomorrow and you'll see some of our opinions on knights. I think knights are cool. I think there's definitely going to be some plays for including them in a Blood Angels army for sure. Daniel's building a Laser Vindicator Destroyer. I want to get a Laser Vindicator Destroyer, Daniel. I can't decide though if I did get one if I would replace like my Dreadnought with it, because it's about the same points, right? I think the Laser Destroyer maybe comes in like 5 points cheaper than a regular Contemptor. Atlas apparently didn't have any issues with the Finecast Sanguiner. Sometimes the Finecast can be okay, sometimes they can be a nightmare. It's the same with resin. Like, I've made some... Like, when I made my Falchion, I actually didn't have that many problems with it. Like, the The parts seemed to glue together, they fitted together reasonably well. I didn't tear my hair out or anything like that, and then I made a Contemptor Dreadnought and I ended up sticking my fingers together with super glue. One of the legs just wouldn't stick together, I had to pin it, and it was a bloody nightmare. So I guess sometimes with that stuff it can go both ways, I feel like, because if anything I would have said, like, I would have expected the falchion to be much more difficult to make than the Relic Contemptor, right? I have a whole knight army. I can run about anything. They're cool. I don't actually think adding knights to marines is amazing. I think that's probably the consensus that we come up with in tomorrow's video. We don't think it's amazing. I guess it's one way to add fire support to your army, and it can also add a bullet magnet to a Blood Angel's army if you need a unit that's just going to eat up a bunch of firepower, make space on the battlefield. Then I guess that's something else it can do. I think you're probably right, Phil Reziel. It's not quote unquote an amazing option, but it's not bad. And also, I am glad that they brought back the fact that, like, I guess I'm just glad that they brought back the ability to do that, right? Because you used to be able to soup armies or like run detachments from multiple armies, and they took it all away. In some cases it probably made sense that they did take it away, but in some cases it probably didn't make sense that they took it all away so blanketly. So this is nice that it's back. Jimmy just spilt his blue wash. Man, it's the worst when you spill paint. It's always a paint that you don't have much left of, I find, when you do spill it. Go Jimmy, clean it up. Death Company low leadership is supposed to represent them losing control and attacking friendlies without a chaplain to guide them. Still pretty silly though. I mean, I guess it's supposed to represent them losing control, but I'd rather they just... You know the stratagem for Custodes Unleash the Lions? You know that stratagem? Where they can like play it on basically a Terminator squad, and every single Terminator becomes like its own unit? A unit of one Terminator? Wouldn't that just be much cooler in Death Company, where like if they fail leadership test, everybody becomes a single, rather than running away, everybody becomes a single Death Company unit and they just have to charge the nearest enemy. You got all these like crazy one-man Death Company units. Maybe it's not a stratagem you can play, it just happens the first time they fail the leadership test. Because I don't feel like they're running away. They're running headlong to their death, but they're not running away from leadership. They're going to take something down with them, right? Berserkers building Terminators and get base coats on my wife's Iron Hands, also finishing my last Questoris Knights. You know what, I've tried really hard to get my wife into Warhammer. I might try again once the kids are a little bit older. She did start painting some Necromunda because we bought the Necromunda starter set. So I was doing Goliath and she was doing Escher. And I mean, I think she was further ahead with her Escher than I was with my Goliaths, but you guys know how slow I am, so I might try again at some point. She knows a bit more now because, well, she knows what Blood Angels are, I guess. I'm stuck with it between the Gallant and the Forge World Castigator. The problem with the Forge World rules is we don't know when they're going to get updated, right? Like, Imperial Armor already came out for this edition. We might not get any more updates to it. I don't know what they're thinking in terms... Like, I don't know what Games Workshop are thinking with Imperial Armor. Like, are they thinking it was a one and done sort of thing for 9th edition? is there rumors that we're going to be get a 10th edition? I don't know. I'm unsure how what I feel will happen to Imperial armor. So like, maybe the Forge World Knight is the wrong choice just based on that. If you're hoping for new rules, I would say it's the wrong choice, but who knows. Sellers says he always spills brand new ones. Good evening, Sellers. How you doing? I've spilt a few paints in my time, but fortunately not for a little while. Probably now that I've said that, we'll spill a paint tonight, but I try to do my best to make sure that I close them up after I take the paint out onto the palette. So who's excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi tomorrow night? Does anyone know what time that comes out? Because my other big love is Star Wars. You can probably see over here behind me, I have like 4 boxes of Warhammer. I've got Necromunda, Indomitus, Deathstorm, Shadowspear, 2nd edition 40k, Dark Imperium. I think I might... Oh, and Assault for a Black Reach is up here out of camera view. So I've got like 2nd edition, 4th edition. I think Deathstorm was... I don't know what Deathstorm was. I've got both 8th and I've got 9th. And then above that, I've got Imperial Assault. And I have every single box for Imperial Assault. I've got Jabba's Realm, Heart of the Empire, Return to Hoth, Twin Shadows, Tyrants of Lothal, the Bestman Gambit, and the base set. So my other big love is Star Wars. And we got Obi-Wan Kenobi coming out tomorrow. And I really enjoyed Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. I actually enjoyed Rebels more than the new movies like 7, 8, and 9. I thought Rebels was a really great series. Obi-Wan was in it for a hot minute, I guess. He was in Clone Wars obviously a lot, but yeah, he was in Rebels too. I'm excited to see, and Hayden Christensen is back as Darth Vader, obviously. So, 2 episodes tomorrow. I just don't know what time. I tried to get the missus into Warhammer, and then I remembered I like the time Oasis, Jimmy. Do you know what? I like my time with my missus, Jimmy. But I do say that, like, you know, she certainly likes to watch a lot of crap on Netflix. I mean, when you've got babies and stuff, you get stuck on the couch a lot, so that's kind of no fault of her own, I guess. Kenobi and Stranger Things 4. Yeah, I know people are excited about Stranger Things. I've actually never watched Stranger Things. I'm not really... It's funny, I'm not a modern horror person. I like old, cheesy horror much more than modern horror. For example, I love Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead. I actually really like the series that they did a few years back. What was it like? Ash vs. Evil Dead. So I do like sort of scary, horror-y film things, but I prefer the old school, I guess. Obi-Wan should be great. More Darth Vader. I cancelled Disney Plus as nothing I need. Well, I mean, it's got a lot of new Star Wars content coming, and I mean, what about your kids, Rezio? Like, my daughter will watch Disney Plus on repeat. I know they say, like, don't give them too much screen time, but sometimes at the end of the day, you've worked all day, you just want half an hour of peace without the kids screaming in your ear. I totally will be guilty of just firing something up on Disney Plus and letting her sing away or whatever it is she does, you know? It's more Goonies than horror. What, Stranger Things? Ash vs. Evil Dead is the best series ever. I did love Ash vs. Evil Dead. I haven't actually seen the 3rd season. which is the last season. I think part of me didn't really want to watch it because then it'll be over with, right? But I guess I should finish off. I love the old original Evil Dead movies, and I especially loved Army of Darkness. Like, that was one of the first movies I saw when I was a kid, like a horror movie, and Army of Darkness is awesome. You have an Ash Campbell bobblehead? Nice. I just stopped following all the shows. Most of them disappoint me. Can't really be bothered using my time more wisely. Can't you paint your Warhammer while you put on the new Star Wars content in the background? I have no problem with the new Star Wars content on Disney Plus. Like I said, I think it's way better than the new Star Wars movies that they put out. I liked Solo and I liked Rogue One. I just really didn't like episode 7, 8, or 9. So here's a question though, because it came up today. I was speaking to Brett and Kev, and me and Brett are about 3 months away from getting our Warhammer Plus miniature. You know, when you get for subscribing for the whole year. And Kev, for however reason, we don't know why, Kev's getting his yearly subscription miniature like this week. He's only like a few days away. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I subscribed for a year right when it came out. So I don't know how I'm 3 months behind Kev. But I mean, I paid it in a one-off payment. You know, like I did the $50 for the whole year or whatnot. And I was saying to Kev, I don't know if I feel like Warhammer Plus has given me enough value over this year. And I mean, I don't typically run Assassins anyway, so I mean, like, the Vindicator Assassin that you get is cool, but like, you know, I don't really run Assassins, so I guess I was saying to Kev, like, I don't know if I'm resubbing to year 2 of Warhammer Plus. And he was like, what if there was a unique Blood Angels model? And I was like, yeah, I mean, that might get me to resub, but like, I don't think there's gonna be a unique Blood Angels model. So is anyone here sub to Warhammer Plus? You guys, because it's been out, well, I mean, if some people are getting their year 1 reward now, it must have been out for like a year, right? So what's the verdict? Anyone subbed? Anyone gonna resub? Anyone gonna cancel? Have I just not watched the right stuff? Because the battle reports I try to watch on Warhammer Plus, they weren't competitive enough for me, right? Like, they were just like sort of narrative battle reports, which is fine, don't get me wrong. I get some people want to watch narrative battle reports. Winter's SEO is one of the biggest channels on YouTube, and he does, or biggest 40k channels on YouTube, and he does really cool narrative battle reports. So people definitely do want to watch that content, but I guess I'm a type of player that doesn't really care for it, right? What's your thoughts? You get it 3 months earlier if you have app subscription. Oh, right. I guess I missed that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I'm telling you to watch Disney Plus Rezio. You can come and watch my content. Who needs Disney Plus when you've got Blood Angels Commander, right? Oh, right, so if people were subscribed to the app, they get the model 3 months before. Okay, so I guess me and Brett didn't subscribe to the app. I don't like, I've already said to you guys, it's actually a pet peeve of mine using the internet on your phone. You know, like, anytime you want to use the internet, let's say you want to go shopping online, I don't like having to punch in like my 16-digit card number on a tiny little phone screen. I actually just generally don't like browsing the internet on my phone, just in general anyway. I guess I grew up browsing the internet on a computer with a mouse and keyboard. I feel like I can type a hell of a lot faster on a computer than I can type on a phone. I can have a lot more tabs open, etc, etc, etc. So I'm probably old. You gotta remember I'm old. Do you guys know how old I am? Does anyone want to guess how old I am? So yeah, you gotta remember I'm old. So I guess when it comes to building army lists as well, I build my army list at the computer on Battlescribe. So I never really had a reason to subscribe to Warhammer Plus. You could eBay the assassin model, which would easily fetch enough to cover your subscription. Some of those assassins are on eBay already, James, because Brett or Kev was telling me earlier today. I was quite busy at work, so I don't remember who said it, but I'm in a group chat with Brett and Kev, and one of them said that the assassins are on eBay already, apparently. Ed Carnage cancelled after Angels of Death. You know that there's a second series of Angels of Death coming, right, Ed? Drop Zone TV is better than Warhammer Plus. I've never subscribed to Drop Zone TV. Mark, what makes Drop Zone TV better? Rizzo subscribed for the first year. I don't like all the content, but I've totted up the value and it's definitely there, so I plan to resub. See, I'm kind of on the fence. I feel like I probably should resub, bit more so just because if I want to be up to date for like if there's content on there that I can share with you guys or we can talk about together, but I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'll probably resub, but like part of me feels like Joe says just save it in and spend more money than you realise. I'm lost, Joe. What do you mean? Sorry. Manuel, you're 100% right. I'm 39. No, I'm 38 right now. I'm going to be 39 in a couple of months. Yeah, so I'm old. I remember when you used to go on the internet, you had to wait. You had to do boom. You guys remember that? It's mad how far the internet has come. Clint says I'm going to re-up the subscription. The content is good enough, but there's not enough. I do like the app. That's the main reason for continued support. Okay. I mean, if you enjoy using the app, then by all means use the app. I guess I just like, I don't know. I guess I just like computers still. Like I have a laptop. I'd browse if I was going to do some browsing on the internet. I would much rather do it on my laptop than my phone. I feel like my phone is a last resort. I mean, there's nothing wrong with my phone. I have a pretty decent phone, I think. But yeah, I just I guess I'm probably just moany because like a lot of people do use their phone absolutely perfectly well to browse the internet, right? Andy says I guess more too. Here's a question: are you expecting a second exclusive miniature for year 2? And if there isn't, will you still resub? I mean, the rumor that I heard, James, is that there's going to be some sort of Korn Terminator miniature. Again, it's a rumor, so I don't know how much truth is in it. If people are unsubbing because they're feeling like there's not enough value, I feel like Games Workshop will probably try and do like another exclusive miniature thing for year 2. But I mean, I don't know how long they'll keep doing that and how they feel about it. Manuel, one of the reasons he's been with his wife so long is listening skills. I mean, listening skills are definitely important in a marriage. The one that's always gets me is when I am listening and then she goes like, "Are you listening to me?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm listening. I can multitask, yo." I haven't had time to watch enough stuff in Warhammer Plus, but I don't care much about the cost, so I'll likely just keep it, says Daniel. I haven't watched enough on it to justify the cost, but yeah, I feel like I'll probably end up keeping it as well. It was just an interesting conversation that came up where I was like, do I feel like there's enough value in it at the moment? Probably not. Brazil just turned 42, catch up. Unfortunately, I don't have a DeLorean, so we can't get to 88 miles an hour, Rizio, so unfortunately, we'll not be catching up anytime soon. I enjoy painting Primaris Marines. They're very easy models to paint, right? Some people don't do all these little bits on their backs and stuff like that. Some people don't do the belts and all sorts, but I quite enjoy giving them a little bit. I mean, I typically talk about painting my guys battle ready, but I guess I do battle ready and then a little bit more, right? Marcus51, you guys catch up. Drop Down TV is Winters and Liam's channel you pay for. Yeah, I mean, I subscribe to Liam, he's a great guy. I subscribe to Winters as well on YouTube, he's also a great guy. I don't know either of them personally, but yeah, I knew that Drop Zone TV was their thing, but I've like I said, I've never subscribed to it. Clint says the truth is they get more buck from this channel. Clint, you are a legend. Thank you so much for your kind words. That's very nice of you. I hope you guys are gonna like this video I've been working on. It's I don't know, it's just a bit of fun. So I've got a video that's like, it's just... Or did I just drop a paintbrush on the floor? Yeah, I've got something completely different. It's got nothing to... Well, it's got a little bit to do with Blood Angels, but it's got no tactical value. It's just going to be a bonus fun video when it comes out. I haven't decided when I'm releasing it. Probably like next week, maybe. I got something kind of fun that I've been working on for a while. So, hopefully you guys like it. And then I got my RTT in like 3 weeks from now. 18th of June I've got an RTT. It's gonna be my first time back at the tournament table since I lost that GT final game, which was a very horrible memory, I guess. I never want to have to play an army I've never played before at the top table of a GT. I mean, it'll probably happen again, but boy was that frustrating. You get all the way to the top table. I mean, I guess in some ways that's probably as frustrating as some of these you know, these like wins that we're getting at the moment where like one player, for example, like Admech, you know, like what was it, like the London GT Admech player went first and tabled the other guy in turn one. So the other guy had like got all the way to the final table. Have I played Grey Knights since then? I have not played Grey Knights since then. I don't have anyone in my meta really that plays Grey Knights. Do you know what, Gav plays Grey Knights actually? But Monday nights are not good for Gav. I have told him like, hey Gav, I'll play you any other night, just let me know, but I guess he's been quite busy. It's the summer, everybody gets busy in the summer, especially in the first summer since like, I mean last summer everybody was locked down here in Scotland. I don't know what the rules were for you guys elsewhere, but like, we couldn't do anything. So this is the first summer where like, people are allowed to do things again. So I guess everybody's going to be like doing everything that they can because it's finally allowed again. Grey Knights are pretty good into Blood Angels with all the damage to Nemesis weapons. I mean, they've also got a lot worse though, right? Because Armor of Contempt is going to hurt a lot of the Grey Knight stuff into Blood Angels. The Avenger Gatling Cannon, I guess, becomes like no AP, and I think that the Psi Cannons go from -2 to -1. So I actually feel like Grey Knights are... I feel like they're weaker now than they were into Blood Angels when I played them at that GT. Whether or not I can beat them, I guess that's another story, but like, they definitely do less damage with their shooting. I mean, they obviously have psychic powers and stuff that can buff it, but I feel like just their base values are less or something would be the way I would describe it. I consider subbing to Art of War, War Room or whatever, but they're really expensive. How expensive are they, Rezio? Some of the big Grey Knights are on the docket for the 3 grots. Yes, I think Tony's actually writing a Grey Knights episode as, like, this week I think he's working on it. So it might be on the show in a couple of weeks' time. I don't think we have a direct or a finalised date for it, but people have been asking the grots to jump into Grey Knights, so yeah, that's happening. Grey Knight shooting is really bad into Space Marines. They got super resilient too. Yeah, but I think the thing that they were doing before was like 5 Nemesis Dread Knights. Like, I don't know if we see 5 Nemesis Dread Knights with the new rules. I guess maybe we'll see 5 Nemesis Dread Knights and Elite My Words, but I'm not 100% sure we're still going to see that. So you're a 1 model at a time guy, I'm a 1 colour at a time guy, whole squad gets black, then whole squad gets yellow, etc. I mean, I'm kind of doing the same bits of all the models. I mean, like, I've got 5 guys here. The only reason the other guys aren't in shot right now is because the camera, the autofocus will try and focus. Like, if I leave a guy like that, sometimes the autofocus will try and focus on the guy below. You can see the autofocus kicking in, right? But yeah, no, I'm doing 5 incursors at the moment. I'm just jumping between them and trying to put them out of shot of camera so that the autofocus, because if I don't put them out in shot of camera, someone will tell me off and be like, John, your autofocus. I'm like, yes, I know, it's a pain in the ass. 5 isn't even legal anymore, it's 4 max these days. I think at one point they could take 6, right? But maybe it was just 5. But yeah, I know that they made it they couldn't take 5 anymore. I knew that. But I don't remember how many I played on that tournament. It was definitely 4. It was at least 4. Might have been 5. John, Art of War War Room is £27 a month. Is insanity. I mean, they wouldn't charge that if people weren't paying it, Rezio. Some of the... I know Vanguard Tactics is a very professional channel as well, and he charges, or it's not just one guy, is it? Vanguard Tactics. It's like a squad of them, and they do tutoring and stuff, and they can charge quite a lot as well. So I mean, depends. People. I mean, if you want to win games of Warhammer, like if you really want to win games of Warhammer, and you've got the time to dedicate to it, then I'm sure you probably like. You're not. Those channels are obviously providing value because otherwise they wouldn't exist, right? But yeah, I mean, sometimes I think, because I have a few different membership tiers, and my main membership tier is like, what is it, like $4.99 or £3.99 UK pounds? I'm like, even that, like, I feel like that's a lot because, I mean, that's almost like the cost of Netflix, right? So I really do appreciate everybody that subscribes to this channel, even like because you can subscribe on Patreon for slightly less. Like I think on Patreon the cheapest one is like $2.50 or like £250, maybe $350. And like I really do appreciate it because I guess like there's so many streaming services out there if you want to stream content, and I guess there's so many big Warhammer channels as well. So yeah, no, thank you everyone whose name's in green. You guys rock. Thank you so much. I mean, the people that is not in green, you guys can rock as well, but and I know not everyone can subscribe all the time because cost of living and everything at the moment is insane. But it is super appreciated. There we go, Joe. Welcome. You're going to make me hit my May subscriber goal, Joe, because I had 4 days to go. I was actually thinking about that before I come on stream. So Welcome to the channel, Joe. Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Druid Knights are still deadly in close combat. Yeah, they have flat 6 damage in close combat, right, Camille? Or they have the 2 profiles, right? They can do like sweeps or strikes, and the strikes are like they're like flat 6, right? I think all those channels are grifters, to be honest. What do you mean by grifters? Sorry. DTM, good evening, how you doing? Vanguard Tactics is more like a Udemy course for competitive 40k. AO Art War War Room is more like see videos and get some help, but not as guided. I don't know, I've never subscribed to either of them. I've looked at both of them before, though. I guess they're obviously hitting a niche. There's obviously players out there that want to get really guided help, and you know, it can be kind of nerve-wracking if you've never been to a tournament or whatnot. You know, knowing how to start, knowing what to do, knowing how to prepare. So you know, if there's ever a video I can make that will help people out, just leave me a comment and tell me what video you need to see, and I'll do it. Because I typically don't get phased by like regular tournament games. It's just the final games that maybe phase me a little bit. But that's just pressure that I put on myself, I guess. I'm very competitive. I mean, I guess you could see that in competitive because I almost blew up at Andrew for his bullshittery on the channel a few weeks ago, I guess. I'm competitive, but I'm also fair. Like I said, like if I got to the final turn of a tour, well, I was at a tournament that I really wanted to win, and the orc player completely forgot he had commandos. Like, he just forgot about them. And he said to me in turn 4, he was like, I completely forgot about my strategic reserves. So I mean, like, I could have been like, well, you forgot about them, they're all dead. But like, I was like, well, because you forgot about them, maybe you can't like just place them down somewhere that's like super obnoxious in turn 4, but you can bring them on the board, you know? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, those guys are just dead because you forgot about it. And he was like, you know, I think he said he voted for me on sportsmanship for that. And he was like, yeah, okay, I'll put them here, you know, like on this objective in the backfield, so that they're doing something, but they're not like messing up you in turn 4 when I wouldn't have been doing screening anymore, right? Does that make sense? Reziel's helmet finally turned gold. You're a veteran. Thank you so much, Reziel. How many months of support is that then for a gold helmet? Is that 6 months, 12 months? I feel like it must be 12 months because you've been a channel member for forever. Feels like forever, right? The hammer is V3 plus 3, said David. Okay. €5 is not even half a pack of diapers. I mean, I guess it depends on where you shop, Knucking. But yeah, the cost of living has changed a lot. My neighbour's actually trying to sell his house, and he said to me that he got like a joke offer, and I was like, what's a joke offer? And I was like, oh, it's an offer that was just like pretty much around the value of the house. And I was like, well, with all the cost of living stuff going on, like, is the housing market still going crazy? Because the housing market was going crazy, but can it continue to go crazy if everything's going up in price literally every day, all the time? I don't know. Maybe. Grifters equal swindlers. Charging people $20+ for advice on playing toy soldiers honestly seems like exploitation to me, but there's a market for it. I was going to say, but I mean, your personal trainer is only $49.99 a month. Here's the thing, right, DTM, I suppose, like, if you wanted to go and get good at golf, you'd pay a professional golfer, I don't know, I used to do golf lessons when I was a kid. I imagine golf lessons now are at least $20-30 an hour, right? You know, so I guess I guess you're, I don't know, if you wanted to get good at maths, you'd pay a maths tutor the same amount of money. So yeah, if you really want to get good at 40k, I guess, like, and it's super important to you and it's your main hobby and you feel like you're getting value out of it for 20 or 30 bucks a month. I mean, who's to say? I mean, sure, it's expensive, but I guess, like, nothing is cheap these days, I guess, right? So Simba says, I'm pretty new to 40k. I'm currently playing Black Templars, but also considering Blood Angels. Anyone had thoughts about the two? I mean, we did a podcast episode like last week, Simba. I think it was last week's episode was on Black Templars, and obviously Blood Angels are my jam. What's your? I mean, cool thing I suppose about Blood Angels and Black Templars is most of the models have a degree of crossover, right? Like, you can run most of, like, if you painted your stuff fairly generic, like a red-black scheme, you could run a Blood Angels army, or you could run a Black Templars army. You'd only need 10 or 20% of the models would be, like, uniquely specific to one. I literally ran a Black Templars list on the channel about a month ago when I never bought any Black Templar specific stuff. I just ran my red Blood Angels and called them Black Templars for one game to try some stuff out. So right now I'd say Black Templars possibly have a slightly stronger codex than Blood Angels, but you know, Warhammer tends to like swing around, so what's good right now might not be good in 6 months or a year, and yeah, it's just the kind of the way that the hobby works. If you want to get good at 40k, then play a lot of 40k. You can't buy experience. Yeah, I suppose you can't. You're right in a way, Nucking. You are also right that like a coach or someone can help you make some better decisions, I guess. But yeah, I think playing is one of the best ways to learn. I actually think losing is also one of the best ways to learn. Because one thing that I would often say is, because I don't lose that many games, right? When you win a game, at least in my experience, because I play every Monday and it usually is on the channel, if I win a game, at the end of the game, I pack up my models. I don't really think too hard about the game because I won, you know, I'm like, I go home, I maybe watch television for half an hour and go to bed, you know, like, it's like, I just chill out, right? I won the game. Good job. Everybody was watching, probably bet on Blood Angels. I feel like hopefully we picked up a thing or two, you know, and then I go home. If I lose a game, I agonize over it for like the whole evening. I literally can't watch television when I go home. I go home and replay the game in my head and try and figure out like what I did wrong. I think about my army list. Was there anything that I did wrong? And then sometimes like I'll wake up, and then when I wake up, I'm like still thinking about the damn game from last night. Like, oh my god, like I did this and it was so stupid and stuff. So sometimes I think that like losing a game, you know, and like sometimes they say that like you learn more when you play against people that are better than you, because, you know, you rise from the ashes of defeat, I guess. So yes, I guess there is no substitute to playing the game, and you need to play the game a lot to know your rules and remember your stratagems and know your phases and stuff like that. But you do also, there's also some value in people teaching you, right? Last time I played was third, and I don't think the things I used to do even work anymore. Granted, I did some weird things, says Spectre 1. If you've not played since 3rd edition, then yeah, you 100% need to play some fucking games. Or you could come hang out on Monday night and watch some games, because I feel like I usually give Blood Angels a pretty good run out on a Monday night. I feel like I usually give us, what am I trying to say? I usually do us justice, I guess. You can also get very good at a language just by using it, however, getting a structured lesson will yield results. Do not chase the meta. Build a collection based on a solid plan that will make you happy. Yeah, I mean, I would always advise don't chase the meta. If you're thinking of getting into an army, make a list and start buying units, like as a way to start buying units like with direction, I guess, towards building your list, and don't worry too much about what is meta and what's not, because I guess that's what I was trying to say with the codexes. What's strong changes every 6 months to a year. If you try and buy the strongest thing right now, by the time you have it and you have it painted, it probably won't be the strongest thing. You learn more for watching great players than beating up on scrubs. I mean, I guess. I mean, I used to watch a lot of football, didn't ever make me good at football. Clint says this channel does offer more than just tips to be a better player. The painting casual discussion is a big part of this channel's success. Thanks, Clint. Yeah, I mean, I really made the channel as an idea for building a Blood Angels community, right? It frustrated me when I was struggling with things. I was actually probably struggling to win games at one point with Blood Angels. And I mean, Reddit can be helpful, and you know, Facebook groups can be helpful, but because I'm so competitive, I thought, like, that's when I started diving into the maths of stuff, because I wanted to know like what was going to be strongest maths wise, so like to give me an advantage, and then the channel sort of got its own legs and sort of started to become this awesome community. I have missed. Excuse me. I'm far too slow at painting to chase anything, says Manuel. Yeah, me too, Manuel. Typically, by the time I paint something, they're not cool anymore, they're not strong anymore. Stephen BA says, I've decided to become a member of the channel member for a year, or buying a single box of incursors for similar money. BAC is actually much cheaper and more fun. Thank you, Stephen. That's very kind of you to say. What's strong changes much faster now? Yeah, I mean, what's strong does change much faster, actually. There's one thing that hopefully the 6-month iterations of chapter approved will fix. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next, because they announced the last chapter approved a couple of months, maybe it wasn't a couple of months ago at this point, but it was definitely at least like probably a month ago now, right? Because it was the beginning of May, was it not? At that big like May the 4th, May the 5th weekend where they were like announcing all the new models. So it's about a month. So we're probably only a month away from another chapter approved, give or take. Spectre says I have 15,000 points of Blood Angels and about 3,000 points of Grey Knights, but what I've seen, they're all the wrong ones. They can't. If you haven't played since 3rd edition, they can't all be wrong. Because stuff like Terminators are legitimately pretty good now. And you must have some Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are good. What else would you have from 3rd edition? You might have some Devastators, I guess. Devastators are fine. Death Company are fine. I'm so greedy for change. Pretty much the day after an update drops, I'm like, okay, when's the next one? I think over the last few months, apart from the new book still releasing like too powerful, because that seems to be the trend in this edition, is like new armies and new books are releasing like 10 or 20% too powerful. If they could just fix that, I feel like things are looking pretty good for Warhammer at the moment, right? Like, you've got the points costs coming out of the chapter approved books, so essentially you get the points costs for free, which means possibly, unless you're going to a tournament, you probably don't need to buy chapter approved. If you're just playing with your friends week in and week out, one of you can buy chapter approved and you can all play with it. So yeah, exactly. Things are getting errated pretty quickly. The new codexes are getting errated very quickly. I guess it's, and like, maybe the points costs are the first step towards a more living rule set. Living rule set, I think, is the correct term, right? Where like the rules are just updated in a much more dynamic and constant way, I think. Isn't the newest thing for fun games Tempest of War? It is Tempest of War. I haven't actually read the Tempest of War cards. A few people have asked me if I can review them. I definitely can. I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Tempest of War after this next tournament that I go to, because I'm not going to have much time, because I'm only playing one game a week. I'm actually struggling with my list. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously we look at the really strong Blood Angels lists week in and week out in some of the videos I do, but I feel like the right call was to lean more into jump units, which I have been doing. You know, I've been running that second squad of Sanguinary Guard. I essentially have like 5 close combat units in my army. 2 Sanguinary Guard, the Terminators, the Vanguard Veterans, and then kind of, I guess, if you like, the 2 squads of Incursors. So I feel like that's the right call, but I'm just not sure. I think I'm gonna have to take pretty much the list that I'm running to the tournament and see how we get on, and maybe make some changes afterwards. I have an enormous amount of tactical squads and scout squads with Razorbacks, Rhinos, large amounts of bikes, regular assault squads, elite units that were mostly not worth it. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of that from 2nd and 3rd edition as well. Tactical squads used to be very good. Like, in 2nd and 3rd, tactical squads were a very strong staple of the list. Unfortunately, they're not anymore. Bikes? What type of bikes you got? Because I think there's play in bikes. Alright, I got about 5 more minutes, guys, and I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to be back on Saturday night for sure. Doing some more painting, and I'm back on Sunday night for sure doing the live army list show. Monday this week is going to be Chaos Knights we're going to play up against. I haven't played against the new Chaos Knights yet, so hopefully I'll learn something from that game. And I might, if I get a chance, I might try and get a stream in this week where we look at I'd like to continue playing what's the game? The Grey Knights game? Chaos Gate, because we did like 2 sessions of that. It was pretty fun. I haven't played it since, so I just played it twice on launch week. I think it launched about the start of this month, so I need to pick up my save game and then yeah, tomorrow we've got the video coming out about lunchtime UK time, and that's going to tell you all about Imperial Knights for Blood Angels. It's going to dive into it a little bit deeper, very Blood Angel specific video, I guess, and If you haven't subscribed to the Grots as well, you could do that as well. That would mean a lot to us. We are trying to build the Grots to 1,000 subscribers too. So you can find the Grots video links in tomorrow's... You'll find the link in tomorrow's video for sure. Clint says, I played 4th edition, took about a 10-year break. Friends opened a hobby store and kept bugging me to play a tournament last year. Played 2 tournaments and won half of my games due to the channel. Well, congrats, man. I took a long break from Warhammer as well. I had moved away to university. I didn't really know anyone that played. Or, yeah, I mean, I genuinely didn't know anyone that played, and I don't know why I didn't try and join a Warhammer club then. I guess it just wasn't... I was more interested in alcohol for a while. Alcohol and girls for a while there. So I took a big break as well. But no, I've been back hobbying now. I mean, it's coming up on my 5th year back. And I'm actually overdue to make another video where I show everything that I've painted since returning, because my collection of Blood Angels is getting quite big again. It was big before, but I stripped a lot of the models because I was really unhappy with how I painted them when I was a kid. Some of the models were painted like tragically badly. I was almost too embarrassed to field them. That's how bad I was at painting when I was a kid. Definitely did not thin the paints. That was not... Thinning the paints was not something I was ever told how or why to do. Is Andrew more excited for Knights than Tau after that tournament, or is he just trying something for fun? I don't know what army Andrew's going to settle on DTM, but this is... So Andrew builds those... Like, we call them skew lists, or... I think we call them skew lists. Which is basically like... So Andrew makes a list where he picks 1 unit or 2 units. If you think back a few weeks, it was the War Dogs, and he made a list where it was like 10 War Dogs. If you think back a few months, he made that Orc Buggy list that was... What was it, like 9 Rucka Trucks and 8 Scrap Jets? And then more recently with the Tau, we made the list where it was like 16 or 17 Crisis Suits with a shitload of shield drones. So he makes these lists, and these lists are kind of one-dimensional, to be honest, right? Because it's like it's all the same unit. So he just gravitates to like the strongest unit he can possibly have. And I mean, when he did Iron Hands before then, I mean, he ran 18 Eradicators in that one list as well, right? So he gravitates to what he determines is the strongest or the most overpowered thing in the Codex. Then he tries to take it to a tournament, but he's not been playing that army for that long. So let's say I decided that Redemptors were the shit for Black Templars, so I'm going to make a list that's 3 Redemptors and then, like, I don't know, like lots of something else. And you take it to a tournament. Well, I don't have that much experience with Black Templars, so the second I get into a difficult game where I'm really struggling to score points, I don't know where, like... I guess he doesn't know how to, like, fall back on tried and tested plays because he's not played the list long enough, or he's not played the army long enough. So then he does that and he takes it to a tournament, and then basically by the end of the tournament he's disgusted with the army because it didn't win and he doesn't want to play it anymore. When Andrew played Sisters, because for a while there he was playing Sisters, right, every week, and he wasn't running a skew list. He did have some skew lists, because he did have that Sisters list that was like... What are the Sisters robots called? They've got the heavy bolter, the pennant and engines, and there's another one... I think the pennant and engines have the heavy bolters, but there's other ones. They're basically pennant and engines, but they're just melee. I forget what they're called. They're the same profile. Like, they're toughness 5, 4 up save, 5 up feel no pain, 5 wounds, mortifiers. Yeah. So he ran some Sisters lists that were like 10 pennant and engines and 10 mortifiers. So he did, even with the Sisters, he ran some skew lists. But I honestly thought, like, when he was just playing Sisters week in, week out, he was getting really good with Sisters, and obviously Sisters have Miracle Dice, and Sisters aren't a bad army. They're not a meta army, they're not the top there, but because he was playing them week in, week out, he was actually like, he was becoming a real challenge to beat. And I said to him like, hey, this is good, you know, you're sticking with one army, and it's becoming more and more difficult for me to beat you. I think, you know, I think if you just stick with sisters, you'll be good. And then like a new book comes out, like the Tau Codex drops, and he's like, well, let's be playing Tau. And that's just Andrew, man. I honestly think if at one point he just decided that he was just sticking with one, he'd probably end up doing better. I guess he is really, he even says it himself sometimes. He says he's a filthy meta chaser, right? He's definitely said that about himself. Is there a Discord for this Blood Angels community? Yes, 100%. There should be a link in basically every video I put up on YouTube. There should be a link to the Discord in the video description. If there's not, I think if you type !Discord in chat, it should share the link in chat as well. Hashtag one of us. There will be 40k sets of Magic the Gathering. Yes, I believe there is 40k sets of Magic the Gathering announced, isn't there? I think I saw some of them on eBay already. They're pretty expensive if you want them right now. I guess some people have the first copies, and they're up on eBay for quite a lot of money. Like I think it was like 180 bucks for a set. I have no idea what their actual like retail is worth, but I assume it's quite a bit less than that. Sisters have been doing well since AOC. They have been, and I believe the pennant engines, the ones with the heavy bolters. I can't remember. I think it's the mortifiers actually that have the heavy bolters. I think the mortifiers benefit from Armor of Contempt. I was going to say, is it Discord? Sometimes my bot decides to take the night off. Let me get you a link to the Discord just so you definitely have it. It's past midnight though. I didn't actually notice the time. I usually call the stream at midnight because I have work in the morning, so I kind of need to head out. How the hell do you invite somebody to Discord? Here we go. Invite, copy. Here's a link. Alright guys, thank you so much for the subscription tonight, Joe. Welcome to the Legion, I guess. We are at 10,000 members now, so technically that's kind of a Legion. I do appreciate it. My counter didn't update, but I'm sure it's going to. That's going to make me hit my goal for May. I super appreciate that. Obviously, I appreciate everybody else that's got a green name as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. I will be back in a couple of days' time. I might be back tomorrow, we'll see. We might come and play some more of that Grey Knights game. But yeah, enjoy your evening. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, guys.